Okay, we'll just do that for now. Good evening. We are live from the iconic Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown on the iconic Hempstead Turnpike. I'm Tom Galati. My co-host is right next to me.
I'm Brett. What's going on, Tommy?
What's up, Brett Fumara?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. Who's this?
Well, we have a special guest tonight. We have Jackie DeLuca. Hello, Jackie. How are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I know we talked about having you on for a while, and I'm glad we finally picked a date, and it worked out for you.
Yes, I'm thanking you and apologizing to you both at the same time.
Apologies in advance for anything.
It's a good start.
Anything off color today? Is that what we're
Yeah,
saying?
we'll see what happens. We're going to wing it.
All right, good. Well, I think we're going to have a fun show tonight because there's you check a lot of really cool boxes, and
Okay.
we're talking Islanders. It's
Yes.
big game tonight,
Definitely. Hopefully we can pull it off.
definitely. So Jackie's an Islander fan. She's into cars. Long Island girl. I like the shirt.
Yes, definitely. Had to rock it.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's funny how the retro look has come back, even
Oh my
with the
God.
Fisherman. I hated it when it first came out.
Yeah, this is the only one that I have, but I feel like as an Islander fan, you have to have at least one. Like,
Yeah.
you have to. It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
Yeah, and even someone was just talking about the old mascot, the first mascot that they came out with, Niles, at the
Yes.
same time that they were doing that.
Weird.
Okay.
Right? It was like really awkward.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was awkward. I remember going to games and he was like sliding into the net himself, and everyone was just like,
Do you have the big light on his head?
yes,
Right? Yeah.
yeah. But it's funny. Sparky was on News 12 the other day, and Erin Colton had to interview him, and
Yeah.
she's like afraid of
She's afraid
mascots.
of mascots, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
she said too, like he had an abnormally big mask over his face, you know,
Okay,
like
yeah.
to you know
For the COVID, yeah. I
for the
saw.
COVID, right? And she kept saying how that was making it even more awkward, you know. With
Okay.
now here it's not just a 7-foot dragon,
Dragon with wings and the whole nine.
right? But it also has a 4-foot by 2-foot mask over his fake face, you know. So I think that was creeping her out even more. All right, so we're gonna get to a lot of things about how you got into cars, all that
Okay.
stuff. And we're going to talk about the Islanders, of course. I think it's a must-win tonight, even though it's not
Yeah.
truly a must-win. It's
Yeah.
it's their second home game in this
Yeah.
series. So I think we could all agree it's truly a must-win to
Yes.
swing the momentum back in
Yes,
their
they
favor.
have to.
Actually take some shots.
Yes.
Barzell,
Yeah.
looking at you. Right? I know you got the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough passing, enough looking, enough skating around.
I feel like the last 2 or 3 games he's looking much better.
Yeah, but I always tell everyone it's Matt Barzell. Like, he's totally covered. He's always stacked up.
Right.
So that frees up everyone else. So everyone has to step up. It's nice to see Barzell,
Sure.
but
Right.
it has to be everyone. And like, be more aggressive. I want to see like hits, like
Yeah.
freaking kill Boston. I'm horrible at games. Like, I can tell you stories of just crap that comes out of my mouth. It's like I get Tourette's
Right.
at the Islanders games where like little kids, old ladies, no one is off limits. I scream, I curse, I lose my shit. So they have to step it up because the energy is just it's got to get there.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
especially too, like Boston's. I feel like there was a lot of like dirty hits, and like I think they're just known
Yeah.
for that. And right, it's like
They do. They take dirty hits. I mean, in the beginning of the series, we did win 5 games straight against them, and they picked
Yeah.
up the last 3. And it's like, You know that they're going to be dirty, so just rip their damn heads off right on the ice. Like, let it go.
Right. Just
There's no other time than now.
draw a line in the ice. Right. Tonight, they got to come out swinging, literally and figuratively. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, definitely be an exciting game to watch.
And Casey Cizikas is hot right now.
Oh, I thought-
Everyone
I thought
doesn't
you
talk
meant
about
hot
him.
as in looks. I was going to
Well,
say, yes, he is.
I mean,
Both.
I mean-
sure.
as 100% lesbian, I can sit here and tell you that he's not terrible to look at, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, if I'm saying hot, it's strictly for ice playing on, you know,
The way
that
he
kind of
wears the
stuff. Yeah,
uniform.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
totally.
Well, actually, this would be
and
good. We
his
could talk
wife.
about how hot the players' wives are, right? And the girlfriends.
I never even like
You never
pay
seen 'em?
attention to that. You know, it's
Me
like
neither.
hockey. You're
all
lucky
about
if you
the
even know
colors.
what they look like. You
Yeah.
know, they kind of like always fly under the radar. Like wives, children, who like
Right. Outside
Yeah.
of Matt Martin's wife, who is
Right.
Boomer Esiason's daughter, I don't know
Right.
any of them.
Boomer Esiason, by the way.
Yes.
If you're watching Gov's Radio, you owe me $20.
Whoa, because
I used to work at Cadillac, and he had a Cadillac pickup truck. And like many celebrities, usually people don't bring their own vehicle in, but Boomer always did, and he always waited. He did not care. He would hang out and talk to people. And I'm also a Met fan.
And would everyone talk shop with him and go, hey, who do you know? What do you
Yeah.
think about last night's game?
Yeah, and this is back when Pedro Martinez was pitching. And that was that whole thing with this big toe. Like he was having issues with his toe.
Right.
We're paying him, you know, millions of dollars, and he's not going to pitch because his big toe hurts. And I said, you know, Boomer, I'm done. Like, he sucks, and I want him off the Mets. You can't pitch because of your big toe, then you shouldn't be in Major League Baseball. And he's like, oh, no, he's going to be great. He's going to do all this stuff. And I was like, listen, I'm not rich like you, so let's just put $20 on it.
Right, put
that
your money where your
Pedro-
mouth is.
Yeah,
right.
that Pedro Martinez is a puss. You know, his big toes keeping him out of Major League Baseball. No, done. And sure enough, I was right. And then I ended up leaving Cadillac, and I never got to rub it in his face or get my $20 back.
All right, so your Venmo is Jackie.
Jackie Dash DeLuca 1
All right.
on Venmo.
You got that, Boomer?
all right,
Or Matt Martin? if
or
you
anyone
wanna-
pretending
Yeah.
to be Boomer.
Right.
At this point,
can
I
Venmo
want
$20.
interest. It's been years. Thank you.
Well, actually, you had something funny on Facebook or Instagram the other day, Jackie, where you said all these companies out there saying like, "Hey, it's Pride Month and we're gay
Oh,
just
yeah.
like you." So, Sally, I don't know if Jackie said something like, and I'm paraphrasing, so correct me and straighten it out. But you basically said rather than patronize those companies, and give them your money, you could just help a legitimate gay person and just
Yeah, and
pay me directly.
So
you could just
as a
Venmo
gay.
Jackie and
Yeah. Don't buy the rainbows.
don't go to Bed Bath and Beyond to get a rainbow
No.
handkerchief.
I
right?
got PayPal. I got Venmo. We
Right.
can meet up. Cash is king.
Right.
You know, but
That's- you really want to make an impact this Pride Month.
yeah, we can all use a
Jackie
little help.
DeLuca.
Definitely.
Do you
Right.
think you'll get your $20 sooner from Boomer or from one of the companies now that you've mentioned it? One of
You
said
know,
companies that are-
Subaru. Hey,
Right,
You're the
Subaru.
only token company.
Right, this is a
actually
car
is
themed.
Subaru.
It's a car
Is
themed
it?
podcast.
Yes.
It's a
people
what?
Don't.
This is a car themed podcast.
Oh,
you're saying
okay.
Subaru is a legitimate right? They
Well, so it's funny because people always think, oh, look at all the gays driving those Subarus. They think it's like the gay car.
Right.
But really, it's because Subaru, right out of the gate, always donated to gay charities, not
Is that
even
right?
within
So-
Gay Pride Month, which is June, every June.
right.
So Subaru is the only actual legit one. So I feel like a lot of gay people like
So
run
they
out
knew
to
that
buy their
straight
product.
out, right?
Yeah.
This isn't like
But you know, it's hard. Like,
this isn't the Ford F-150 saying, "Hey,
yeah,
Happy
no,
Pride Month to
no.
all of our."
Dodge is not throwing up a rainbow saying we're going to give you money, we love you, thanks for being gay. No. And Target is
Thanks
like
for
the
being
filthiest.
Dodge Ram
Yeah.
would like to thank you for being
for
gay.
being gay.
That's it. And Target is the filthiest whore of them all. June comes out, it's like they're just throwing up gay apparel and stickers and
They actually have a
flags everywhere.
section in their store for,
Yeah, for it.
gay T-shirts.
Why don't you do that in like
Love
December?
gay T-shirts.
Or
I love gay T-shirts too.
I do too, but you know, I don't. I feel like it's like, you know, as a gay, you know, am I just gonna wear rainbows all the time? You know, like got to keep it interesting a little bit.
I mean, I do think about it. Like, I lived in California for a while, and when I was in college, I used to get like colds all the time, and I had to do this project, and all of on the list were things like go to a kid daycare and help out, and I'm like, I don't have the immunity for children sticking their nose fingers in my mouth. And like, so I was like, forget it. I can't, because then all my finals are going to be screwed up. So I worked on the gay pride parade. Like I put together their like paraphernalia and stuff. And so I would have to like ask all the time for like donations for the gay pride parade. And some companies were so gracious and others were such dicks.
Yeah.
And it's like 30 years later, and still, like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this sneaker instead of that sneaker because these guys are pricks and
Yeah.
these guys are nice, you know.
Right.
I think about it.
Okay. And I'm sure you've seen some things at that parade that you worked on.
Actually, I did. I thought it was like the most respectful place.
What did you
that
see, Sally?
I really have been in. Yeah, and it's kind of funny because my sister Lori was like, "Don't." It was like really back in the day. It was like 30 years ago. So she was like, "Don't do it. You're going to get AIDS." Like it was like when people didn't know
Oh,
when.
right.
I'm like,
I thought you were
like
going to
she
say, don't do it,
just.
you're going to
I
turn
mean,
into a lesbian.
people just didn't know. You know,
Right.
they just didn't know how you would get it and stuff. You know, it was like late 80s.
Yeah, it's
so
like the cooties touch.
yeah.
I touch
Right.
you, you're gay.
And I
it
actually
works
had
just
a-
like that.
I actually had to say to her, I was like, unless I'm walking along the parade and I drop my water bottle and I've forgotten to wear my pants, and then someone
Right.
who actually is infected is not looking and runs right into me, I think I'll be okay. You
It
know?
happens
Right.
more than you
Then
think.
you might be okay.
So I could see why they were concerned.
Well, I've heard it was a funny comedian. I don't think it was Dane Cook because he's not a funny comedian. Just
No,
kidding.
he is
Damn.
not.
No.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Are you a
Yeah,
Dane Cook
shots
fan?
fired.
No, I don't even know
there.
who he is.
Okay, but it was a funny line that basically said, "Oh, for anyone who doesn't like gay marriage, then don't get gay married."
Yeah.
Right. Just do yourself a favor and don't get gay
true.
married, and then you're fine, right?
Yeah,
Like you
pretty
don't have to worry
much.
about it. I'm just sharing the show out one more time
good.
while we're doing this. I did
Okay.
it quickly before.
I actually have my phone
you share it
on
out?
under the table because
Are you getting text saying,
no, I feel like the only person who would like sound the alarm is my father because he's very nervous
"Is he?"
because I think he realizes
'Cause it's
deep down
Islanders Game
inside
5? Oh.
that he has no control over me, and now I'm live with probably a lot of his friends watching. Sorry, Dad, but it's flying
So-
out
Sorry,
tonight.
Pops.
Right.
That's
Sorry.
it.
Sorry, Mr.
it.
Who
Duluth.
she is.
Yep, we're gonna let our freak flag fly,
That's
Dad.
it. Even he probably is not even awake still. Probably already fell asleep before it started.
He's in his big chair. What is he doing? He's reclining in a chair. What-
Couch guy.
Couch guy,
totally
so he's-
laid out, probably asleep
Is
before
he
the show
watching on his
started.
computer, phone? What is he doing?
I'm sure my poor mother is like taking the laptop and adjusting it, and they're both just like squishing, trying to watch it.
I can't hear.
Fighting who
I
gets.
can't see.
Maybe she has her finger on the mute button so that she thinks she can help you out.
No, you know what? I think she's just gonna let it go and just be like, "Well, that's your daughter, yeah. Like, where have you been for 38 years?"
Yeah.
She's got it down, you know. She knows to brace herself. But my father was like, you know, just behave, you know, like just yeah, sure, Dad, no problem. Yep. In my mind, I'm like, the lesbian shit that's gonna come out of this story, me talking about car chicks and everything else. We'll see what happens.
So what do you do? How did you get into cars in general, and why you're here today?
Well, okay, speaking about my dad, I'm the youngest of 3 girls, so he never got the son. So I guess
So you're the son he never had.
He was like, you know what? This one's fucked. Like, yeah. Sports, hot rods,
Right.
you
I
know.
remember at 4 years old, he said, "You're fucked."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm pretty sure every time he looked at me when he brought me to a car show and I would like see something I liked, he's like, yeah, she's fucked. You know? But they don't
So-
tell you that when you're young. But
So were you like changing the oil on his car as a kid with him on Sunday mornings talking about cool cars and hot chicks?
no.
Okay.
I wish that were so, but it was pretty
That wasn't
much
the case?
him shouting out obscenities.
That was what my dad
And
did.
then, like, you got to hold the wrench and you got to polish whatever piece of chrome. He never let me touch anything. If I touched something, it's because he wasn't home. It's pretty much how that happened. But no, he drag raced, and all my cousins have cars. We're a big car family. My mom loves it. And it was just something that was always in my family. And then we had little, like, race go-karts. And before I knew it, I was driving cars even if I couldn't reach the pedals. And it's just been a love, you know. It's been a love ever since then. And I thought maybe I'd grow out of it. But No, it just only got worse and more expensive.
It's usually how it goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's funny. I remember, and I've said this before, and my dad usually watches too, as well as my mom. And I feel like I would get so excited I was going to help my dad, as a kid, help him in the driveway. And it was like, I really missed those times when everyone was working on their cars on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
changing oil, doing brakes. You'd walk over and, hey, what are you doing? Like I know Tim Allen, the tool man guy, he said like every guy would go over, oh, what are you using a Phillips head over there? What are you
Yeah.
a 12 millimeter socket wrench? Like that's what people did, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a common thing, especially like suburban Long Island, Hicksville, Levittown. Like I grew up in Hicksville, and I felt like people were just always working on their cars, and like
Yeah.
that was a cool thing. And they'd be tuning cars, they'd have cool cars. And I remember the same thing. Like I'd get excited, I was gonna help my dad, and then he'd be like, go inside and get me another 12 millimeter. You know what the 12 millimeter? It said it'll say 12 on the side. And then like usually it was, all right, now go get me something to drink.
Yeah.
Good. Now you can help me clean the tools before we put them away.
Yeah, you turn into a slave. That's what they. It's pretty much, I think, how my father got me involved in the first place was perfect. I'll just use her to go fetch me stuff, and then if I throw something, I'll be like, go get that wrench,
Right.
something like that. But he was more of like, I did learn from him, but it was my mom who really made it fun because. She would have a red IROC. She'd be like, come on, let's go. And we'd go, like, cruising down Francis Lewis and stuff like that. She'd have kids loaded in the car. Like, my mom was the one who always took us out cruising.
That's cool.
So, yeah, we've had
great.
a lot of fun with stuff that she's
Are your
had.
sisters into this too?
No.
All, any way,
No.
shape, or form?
Are they like girly girls? Are they like,
I mean-
don't get my fingers dirty? Or are they combination?
We couldn't be any, like, more not alike. Especially, I think they probably cursed my parents for ever having me. I'm sure it was a struggle for them.
Come on.
Between my mouth, bringing all sorts of kids home, trying to have parties at the house, running wild.
Where did you grow up?
I grew
'Cause
up
you
in
said
Valley
Franny Lou.
Street.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like right on the border.
Yeah, I
so-
lived on the border of Queens pretty much, so, back and forth. But, yeah, my sisters were just not a fan of me when I was young, I would say,
You get along now?
Yeah, no, we get along. They're not into the car stuff, but we can hang out and talk and stuff like that. But cars is like, my one sister doesn't even know cars that she's had. Probably, like we've argued about it. She had a Mustang, and I ended up getting it, and she was like, "That wasn't a GT," and I was like, "Yeah, it was." And she'll have a blown out argument with me. I'm like, "I've owned the car 3 years after you. What are you talking about?"
Right.
She just has no clue at all. But
you said you're the youngest, right?
I'm the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do they live on Long Island? Or you
My
guys
sister
all...
lives in Manhattan, and my other sister lives in Massapequa.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I usually see her more because she's got kids, and I'm up their ass.
The cool aunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gay, unless I'm having the next Jesus, I have to steal someone's children, so it might as well be ones that actually share my DNA. So.
Plus, all Americans
Have
there.
fun.
So
Yeah, all Americans in Massapequa, so...
Yeah, you know what?
Overrated? Is that what you're going to say?
Parking sucks.
It does.
And like I only stay calm for like so long. So like I just avoid it so for the sake of not like killing someone over a burger. But if anything, I'm a Burger City girl. I do have my car meets there.
Where's Burger City?
But
Is that Oceanside?
It's in East Meadow.
East Meadow on Hempstead
And
Turnpike.
kind of like an all-American copy,
yeah.
where it's like a very basic menu, a similar little shack.
you want a double-double or
Yeah.
like that whole...
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But their
Right.
stuff is
But
good.
it is good. My
And
son
So it's like all-American, but it's good? Is
yeah,
that-
and
and
hello.
parking's a little better.
Parking's
But
a little better?
They love the car stuff. Like I spoke with them before I started running meets there, and they were all about it. They were like, "Yeah, that's so cool." Obviously, as long as you're not acting like a douche when you go there. Like
Right.
some import people with their
We'll leave them
burnouts
nameless.
and
You talking about
donuts
Sally?
and
Not in my burger place.
yeah. So, but it's been great. That's pretty much my spot.
Well, by the way, that's the regular cycle, and I do have a funny all-American car story in a
Okay.
second. But I feel like that's the cycle with every car meet, right? Whether it's been, I heard it's coming back on, not Moses, where Captree. I heard Captree's coming back on Sunday mornings.
You know what?
I heard that
You
yesterday
hear all
online.
these stories, but then it's like the same thing with Belmore. Okay, the meets are going on, and then something happens, and
Right.
now it's out, and here
Right.
are the cops blocking you from getting
Right.
in.
A
It's
few
like,
people leave like it's Fast and Furious
Yeah.
8, and then
yeah.
and then they shut it down,
Yeah.
and then they go somewhere else, and then they shut it down, and then they go somewhere else.
Yeah, you always got that one guy. You've seen his car a million times.
Right.
You've looked at it at the meet all day, but when he leaves, he's got to rev it.
He's got to make
gotta-
sure everyone sees
Yeah,
it,
he's
hears
got to make
it.
sure,
Yeah.
you know, like he left really hard, like he's getting something for it. It's, I just never understood it.
Right.
Never understood
Just
it.
like these attention whores that have to leave the events
Yeah.
chirping tires
Yeah.
and doing donuts and
You're just drawing attention, so it's bad enough when you have a meet, you know, you have cops already looking like, all
Right.
right, what's going on
who's
here?
missing a front plate, who's got
Yeah.
a tint on the windows, all that other stuff, right?
Yeah, and then you rip it out the parking lot, and then you wonder why it gets shut down.
Right.
So I kind of just stay away from certain things. Like I let everyone else go and tell me, but usually if I know that it's going to be a sure thing, like I'm not going to get up at the butt crack and go somewhere just to look at a cop to tell me to leave.
Right.
I just avoid that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. That was what my father always said about Captree. He's like, why would I want to wake? My father woke up super early Monday through Friday when he was working, and he was
Okay.
always like, why am I waking up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to go down and look at cars that I could see at now at the Miller Ridge or Belmore or whatever, all these other places. But my All-American story, I had a Yukon GT. You remember those? Like
Yep.
the sporty. It was like the, you know,
Do you have the 4-door or the 2-door?
the 2-door.
Okay.
And I remember I bought it and I put on like a slightly newer GMC rim on it. So it actually had it like a nice look. It was a maroon. I tinted the windows and actually the muffler went and I put on a Flowmaster muffler. That was down the road a little bit. But as soon as I picked it up, I was dating my wife now, Giovanna. I picked her up and I said, let's go for a ride. You know, like we had nothing else to do, right? I wanted to drive it. She was like, oh, it's so nice. It's so cool. So we went for a drive. And so I was living in Hicksville at the time or East Meadow. I think I was in East Meadow. And I picked her up in Huntington. We went for a ride. I'm like, oh, let's go to All American. It was like a nice day out. So we go to All American and we get what we're going to eat. And I don't know why I would think to eat in the car at the time. Like, you know, there's not a lot of other options.
Yeah.
But so we bring it and we're eating it in the car. I'm like, oh, we'll be super careful. I remember it had like this thing that came out for the drinks and everything was fine. But the ketchup, you know, ketchup had the big cups. Mm-hmm. So there's the big cup of ketchup right in between us. And I'm not going to say who did it, but it wasn't me who knocked it over. It was fucking ketchup with the cloth seats. It would have been fine if it was leather seats, but it was like a gray cloth. The car was maroon. And had this like nice cloth interior, and it just like I'm looking at this and I was like boiling because like now here's like a car guy and she was always like, oh okay, my bad, and I was like, no it's not my bad, it's fucking ketchup on like you know on a light gray interior, and I'm like trying to wipe it without rubbing it in, and so but I remember that really stands out. I was actually just telling someone that story the other day when All American came up, so.
Plus, you get in the car the next day, and your friend's like, "What'd you get your period, Tom?" So you had to live with that for 9 months.
If that would have been me, I would have been like, hey, Tom, you need one of my tampons? What's going on over here?
And you still married her, so that's good.
Right. See, I was
A
able
real
to
love
see
story.
through. I was able to see right through that, and
You got past
I
it.
married her. I got past it. You know, took a couple of months. I didn't talk
Apparently
to her.
not,
Yeah, I didn't
because
talk to her.
You still,
children have plopped out, and you're still talking about it.
it's good you don't hold on to grudges. That's good.
I'm just saying she could have put the ketchup on the you know, it comes with the
Right,
foil.
right.
Could have at least put it on
Absolutely.
top of that.
Or in a napkin, something.
Yeah.
You know,
She had other choices. Yeah.
I think we had rubber floor mat. She could have put the ketchup on the floor. Maybe.
anything.
She could have not used ketchup.
Right.
You know, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Be,
It's all-
be respectful.
It's
of
all
your
sugar
vehicle.
anyway.
Be respectful of the Yukon,
Yeah.
please.
All right. So let's get back to cars.
Okay.
And so you drive now a Grand National.
Yeah, I have a 1987 Buick Grand National that I've had since I was like 16, 17 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot of car for a 16, 17-year-old. Was
You know,
it?
Not really, not for this one, but
Okay.
it was pretty much the story went like this. I had a 94 Mustang GT, and it had the 5.0 motor. It was a SN95. But of course, you know, I did headers and a rear and all sorts of stuff. You know, I lived at home. My whole paycheck went to that car every
Right, you
time.
had direct deposit at
That's it.
S&K Speed.
Yeah,
or-
pretty much. And I was asleep, and my father just burst in my room, and he's like, "Get up, get 5 minutes, hurry up. You gotta see what's outside." And he just left. So I'm like, okay. So I get out of bed. I go out there, and he has his friend outside because it was his friend's car. And, it was all there. It was hit in the front, just, header panel damage, but nothing with the frame. But it was all there, and it ran fine. And he was like, look at this. So I'm like, okay, like the hell you waking me up looking at this thing for? And he's like,
You want it?
You want to get this car? I'm like, Dad, what are you talking about? Like, I have the Mustang. Because now I'm looking at this car, which back then in the late 90s was still a unicorn. Like, they're not around like they were now.
Right.
So to see one, usually it was the typical, and I'll say it, a lot of these Buick guys are assholes. You'd see one, you'd want to talk to the guy, you'd want to see under the hood, you'd want to
And they would act
pick
like they're
his
driving
brain.
a Lamborghini and
Not
you
popping
don't look.
hoods, like
Right.
what the fuck is under the hood in there, like
Right,
gold,
right,
like
right.
you never got to really be in one, see one on the road,
Right.
see the hood popped, unless you had magazines and they did a cover story on one. So here it is in the flesh. I'm half asleep. My father's giving me that look like,
What
are
do you think,
stupid?
Jackie?
Like,
Right.
why aren't you excited yet?
Here's your moment.
And
So is this a buddy of his?
yes.
Okay.
And I was like, Dad, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about these cars. There's no parts for them, which at that time in the 90s,
weren't
internet
plentiful.
wasn't the way
Yeah.
that it was. There wasn't anything. And he just looked at me like he was going to smack me in the face.
Like,
and
what are you,
he's
stupid?
like,
Right.
listen, you get in this fucking car right now, you spool that boost, you hit it, and then you tell me you want to fucking buy this car. And then he just looked at me, and his friend just looked at me. So now I got both of them just looking at me.
Right.
So I was like,
Calling you half a fag or yeah.
yeah, like, oh, look at this fucking pussy. She's not even getting excited, like it's a fucking Grand National. It's
Right.
just, so I get in it. It's just totally nothing. You think V6 turbo, just the shape of a G body, everything comes into play. And so you think, all right, well, what's a big freaking deal? It doesn't hit you yet.
Does it have T-tops?
It does have T-tops. And I spool the boost, I hit it. And before I know what the hell is happening, I'm down the block, through the stop sign, onto the next street. And I was like, holy
wow, that
shit,
came out of nowhere. Right.
totally underestimated
And that's
the
a
car.
3.8 turbo, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. So
I knew it was turbo, but 3.8.
yeah, so
six
you
cylinder.
think like 6-cylinder turbo, single turbo, like back then the weight of the car, like
Right. It's a heavy car.
yeah, like you knew that they were fast, you knew that they were bad, but again, they weren't around. So it was like the myth,
Right.
And so I bring it back. My father's, smoking his cigarette, and not saying anything. He's just looking at me stone faced. So
What's it gonna be, Jackie?
I'm like, oh, the thing is awesome, like, well, what do you want to do? Like, I'm fucking 17 years old. Like, where am I whipping this money out of just to take this car and know anything about it? And here we are, over 20 years later, I still have it. And it's
how
still
many
not
miles?
finished. Well, so the speedometer is going to tell you 75,
Sure.
but really full restoration on the car 20 years ago, and then I just did the motor again over 2 years ago. So it's like hardly any miles. If I have 2,000 miles on a rebuild is saying a lot.
Wow.
Because, I do drive the car. It's not like I don't, but, you drive it and then you go to your place and you're sitting there parked. You're not
Right,
really
right.
stacking
You're
on
not-
miles.
Right.
So as much as I go out, it's still very low miles on it.
How many cars do you have?
I just have the one
That's
because
the
I'm
only
a
one you got.
broke bitch.
Okay.
My Venmo again is Jackie,
Jackie
Dash
hyphen-
DeLuca,
right,
the number one.
Number one.
Right. If you want to sponsor
Yes.
the Grand National, you put a sticker on the back.
Or if you know Boomer Esiason, please.
Yeah.
Please, $20.
Please. Get her that $20.
Yes, I need it. I need every cent. Every
So
cent.
what do you take to work every day?
So I just got the Beige Beauty, which is a 2006 Mercury Mountaineer.
Nice.
I had a brand new Jeep. The prices right now, everything is over sticker. And again, my dad with the, hey, my boss has this truck, $700. It's $700. Everything works. You gotta buy it. And so I hate it, but I think about the money and everything works. So I'll drive it until it's not drivable,
Right.
or I find something better.
And you're handy, so you can,
And I'm kind of like incognito because it's like you're driving around in a lazy boy. Cops ain't looking at me,
Right,
you know?
right.
So it's like a score in my
Right.
opinion. And the beauty of it is I don't care about it. there's nothing better than parking in a parking lot
Right. Squeezing in
Long
between
Island.
two cars at the
Walking away
at
like
Kohl's.
fuck you
Right.
guys, bring it on. Don't care.
Right.
Don't care what it looks like. It's like so freeing to look at your car and be like, I don't give a shit about anything that happens to
Meanwhile,
this car other
Grand
than it
National,
running.
you go to Dunkin' Donuts and you park a mile
will
and a half
fucking
away.
murder someone, like-
Stop looking at my car.
And yeah, and these people like it's like a moth to a flame. They see it and they touch it like no etiquette.
I can't get over that. Because even it's funny, my father had a 64 Grand Prix that he put up for sale.
Okay.
And he was at the Oyster Bay cruise night. Have you ever gone
Yeah,
up there?
I've-
on Tuesday nights?
I went like once years ago and I was like, never again.
Because it was like you're in there, you're kind of locked in there for the night.
You're locked
or-
in there
yeah.
and you get all the people that come, oh, let's look at the cars. And they're just shy of being Tawny Katane on the fucking hood of my Buick. They're all over it. They're touching it. They're
Right.
rubbing on it. I
Right.
mean, I almost feel like they should pay me. I
Right.
feel like abused and molested almost after you watch what they do to your cars.
Right.
So I
I just got to second base with the Buick.
basically, yes.
Yeah.
And again, not paid.
Well, so my father had for sale signs on the Pontiac, and the guy was interested in it, and he calls my dad. He's, oh, I'm walking around here. Are you here? He's like, my dad's like, yeah, I'll meet you there by the car. I'll be back there in 2 minutes. And he's like, well, what's under the hood or something? As he's like he goes, oh, it's a 389. So he meets him at the car, and then my dad shows him like where the latch is under the front bumper to open up the hood. And he goes, oh, well, I could have done that. My dad said, well, I wouldn't touch someone else's car
Yeah.
unless, you know. So just like the thought of anyone, even any car, but still like any type of collectible car, anyone would just think to touch it. Even my little guys, I've been taking them to car shows since they're babies.
Yeah.
And now they're 7, and they know every time they walk past the car, even if they have like a jean jacket on, they'll hold the jacket as they're leaning in to
Yeah.
look. I'm like, you have to be respectful.
Yeah.
Those
Well-
cars get a scratch on it, and you don't want to start doing paint correction or
Yeah, no.
anything like that on any of those cars.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to just smack the kid and yell at them and just shake them. What the fuck are you doing? But you can't. And then you give that parent like,
times,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
get-
I mean, I try to stay out of jail as much as possible, but you see like the dad just like in another world. So
Right.
I go after the parents. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, can you get your kid?
He's
Like,
a
Right.
kid.
you know, you
whatever.
don't want to scare the
Right, tell 'em
kid,
get their
but like,
fucking mitts
who's-
off my car.
Yeah, who's paying me when you fuck up my car? You
Right,
know, like
right.
really.
I go right at the kid.
You know,
I used to have a coffee bar, and like kids used to like hang off of it, and I'm like, this thing was like $20,000, and like I'd like go up to them like, get the fuck up the car.
see, I like to go for the parents because that's the shame. Like the kid ain't gonna remember
Right,
that they
right,
touched my
right,
car. They don't give a
right,
shit.
right.
But it's the parent that I want to expose. Like I'm totally.
Oh, you think it's okay for Junior to touch
Yeah.
my car?
I'm totally Cersei Lannister right out of Game of Thrones. Shame, shame, following them around. Look at you. Just
But they're already beaten. Like they're hoping to be shot. They hope you end their life.
that's what they get for bringing their kids that don't know any better.
Right. Don't know anything about cars.
Yeah, they got to learn the hard way.
Yeah. Oh, we have to do a live read for.
Personal touch car wash. Is that what you're talking about?
Wow, it's like you're finishing my.
Tom, when you've been doing 7 shows together, it just
You
happens.
just get into
like
a
that.
rhythm,
You
right,
just,
Sally? It's like.
It is.
You just feel it out.
You guys are velvet.
You know,
Yes.
you can feel it. Sally can feel it. So yes, personal touch car wash, and if you want a free car wash, we'll be giving away a few. How many? 47 free
Yes.
car washes.
There's only
at
47
least
left.
47.
Yes.
If you text a number, which I'll give you at the end of the show. But personal touch car wash, 2 locations: East Northport, 1977 East Jericho Turnpike, and in Bohemia, 1261 Lakeland Avenue. You can get unlimited washes starting at $23.95 a month. They also do full service details, and you can also visit them online at elwoodcarwash.com. Personal touch car wash, where a dirty car.
Is a dirty shame.
Back to the show.
All right. So we'll be doing. We'll be doing that towards the end of the show. Where
Yeah.
We'll be giving away some. I know a few people that have gone there and gotten their free car wash.
They've gotten
Actually,
personally touched.
They've
They
gotten
have?
personally touched.
Okay.
They've gotten personally touched in East Northport and Bohemia.
All right, both locations.
I just had them do. I think I told you, Brett, but I don't know if I mentioned it on the air that I had them do a full detail on my wife's Explorer.
Okay.
She has a 17 black Explorer, and you know how hard it is with black.
Yes.
Actually, next week I'll send you a picture, Sally, so you can pull it up. How good it looks.
Cool.
They do a really good job, and you know it's funny. Like you don't like to bring your car places sometimes when you're a car person until you get comfortable with, at a place like that. And,
Yeah.
I still like to wash it in the driveway when I can sometimes, and the kids like it. I just have to keep an eye on them and make sure, like the mitt doesn't fall into the, sand and dirt in the street, and then they pick it back up to go start washing again. So I guess things that I did when I was a kid, helping my dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they do a really good job on details. I referred a buddy of mine to them recently, and they do a really, really good job.
Very good.
Yeah.
And thank them for being with us.
Yes. Thank them for.
Thank you so much.
They're one of our flagship sponsors.
That's right.
And if you'd like to get involved and sponsor our show or any of the great shows here at Govs, you can email us at
carsandcomedyshow
Show.
at gmail.com.
Thank you. carsandcomedyshow@gmail.com. So if you want to get involved as a sponsor, we have some really awesome shows here on the network with a lot of different areas of focus. There's opportunities to sponsor all of them, one of them, none of them.
Mm-hmm.
All American Hamburger.
choice.
If you have a different way that you're distributing ketchup right now and you want to be a sponsor and you want everyone to know about it, let us know.
If they're giving away free car washes with every burger purchase, in case they have future wives who don't know how to put
Right.
cups of ketchup in the car, or Burger City for people who like that better.
Yeah. I'm going for the Burger City.
Well, so that's what I want to. So I want to talk to you now about a couple of things along those lines, because I feel like you're very active on social media,
Yes.
in a funny way sometimes.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
thanks. I
Well, like
mean,
the gay pride memes for
well,
the
you
last
have
couple
to for
last
the
couple of
month.
days.
Yeah,
they've been
June.
funny,
I got to get my gay memes in now.
Right.
right? Got to get them in before June 30th,
Yeah.
right? Because then you can't share out the gay memes anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like, Cinderella at the ball, but
It's midnight.
we'll break the rules. I'm still
Keeping
gonna
your
be gay
Christmas
after
lights
June.
up in like February.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed. Sorry.
So, but it's funny because I sent you one or two that I thought were really funny, and I feel like you've been sharing them. Oh, this is the best one I've gotten this week or something, and you've shared out a few that are really funny.
Well, I definitely got my arsenal ready for June because I was like, I'm gonna fucking just let it rip
Right.
this year. Because, yeah, I'm gay, but I'm not like, the rainbow avatar, and I'm not, I don't have a gay sticker on any vehicle I own. I'm not out there with it, but I also am not shy, and I don't live closeted, so it surprises people. So every now and again, I like to just flood people's feed with just gay shit.
To make up for not having a
To
sticker
just
on your
be
car.
Like, just a reminder, like, just constantly press that red button of gay memes, like, just winging them out. So when I started doing it, I had no idea that it was, like, going to be a thing where all of a sudden everyone started sending me all these gay memes, like, this one is so funny, or I found this one, or I found that
right,
one.
right.
So it actually has kind of blown up where I'm like, wow, I was only going to do like one a
Right, I
day
just thought the
because I'm
Bed Bath &
already
Beyond one was funny,
obsessive,
right.
but
what they want.
I'm going to
Give the
have
people
to.
what they
I'm
want.
going to have to. You asked for a lesbian, you got it.
You got it.
That's it.
Right. You want a lesbian who's into cars and the Islanders?
Yeah,
It's your lucky day.
that's it. Jackpot.
Can we put up the phone number too? Because I know Jackie has some
yeah,
of
you know
her
what? I had it
friends.
before
Oh,
the
God.
Yeah, I had
Unless
it
you don't
up
want
the
that.
whole thing.
Oh, listen,
Jackie's dad, if you're watching, you want to call in.
we can always hang up.
That's right. If you
I
want to
can.
read your
Like Sally, I'll
We
just
can.
give you the
Right.
Yeah,
cut them off.
yeah. We'll do sign language.
Oh, bad
That's it.
connection. Must be your cell phone.
No, I'll just be like, no, Sally,
Done. All right.
Just go.
make the questions worth the answer. No boring, like, how's your gas mileage on the Buick? Shut up. Ask me something fun,
Yeah. What's it like making out with your wife in the Buick? Like something like that?
It does not happen. She is like,
Yeah. She
oh,
into
your
cars?
Your
Like,
Buick, that's cute, well, she's into cars, she is. But she also, like, learned in watching me, like, what it really is to be married to someone who's, like, in it. So it's,
be careful what you wish for.
yeah. She's probably sleeping through this podcast. I'm not worried. She's getting it now, but it's one of those things where she's just like, that's all you. Have fun. I got my rims on my car. She's like, they're all right.
name?
Vincenza.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
Jennifer Prada.
Oh, My family.
Let's
go.
Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hello?
I gotta put my
Oh, yeah, we gotta
headphones
put our
on. Yeah, hold on.
I was
I'm
already
new to
prepared,
this.
guys.
Brett already has his.
Who's speaking?
Who's this on?
You know, I got my rims on my car.
Hello.
And you're gonna have to
Hi.
you're gonna have to turn your the station down.
Who do I have?
You have Jackie's mother and father on
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys killing each other over the podcast? We're gonna hang up on
speaker.
you.
This is Jackie's mother.
Hi, Jackie's mother. You have to turn down the
Yeah, turn
the
your
speaker.
TV down.
All right, wait a minute. Let me go. And Jackie's mother and father.
You think they
Jackie's
would be
mom is
prepared if they
stereo.
called?
Yeah.
There hasn't been parents yet that have
Okay,
done this.
now you can hear me. Dad has remained quiet through the whole thing, but he is awake.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ooh, accomplishment.
That's
yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out how he really feels after the show.
good. Is he?
He's had a little stern face on. I saw him chuckle a few times.
Okay.
That's good.
Jackie's mom,
She's doing a great job.
did he chuckle at your daughter's impression of him?
Definitely not.
It
Definitely
was
not.
kind of stone faced, but he knew she was
thinks he's
on
an
right on, because that's him.
He's bracing himself for the lesbian talk.
Yep.
We could move right back on to the 3.8 turbo motor that's in the Grand National if you want. We don't have to
Now
talk about
you've lost my mom.
we don't have to talk about
No, I'm right here.
we don't have to talk about any love interests. We could just talk about the love of cars.
Okay. All right, guys. It was great talking to you. Great show.
Bye, Jackie's mommy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Having
Jackie's mom.
Jackie
Say hi
on.
to Jackie's dad.
Okay.
Well, she'll probably still have the phone on, not knowing how to
They'll
disconnect.
forget to turn the volume back off. How come they're not saying anything?
Yeah, that's weird. The show's over now.
She'll be
still
calling my
talking.
brother-in-law, Vinny, what's going on with the computer?
I see them talking, but there's no sound anymore.
Well, that's cool. I was going to say congratulations on raising a nice young woman.
Oh, that's sweet, but yeah, we're past that. We're past that already. But yeah, no, I mean, I do car events. You know, I'm
Well,
trying to.
that's what I wanted to ask you. So, do you actually coordinate the G Body? Are you head of like the G Body club, or is
No, so it was pretty much the pandemic hit, and I have a lot of car friends, and they were all like, you know, so many people, you should just do something like, you know, you can
Like
pull it off.
coordinate a cruise night or something, right?
So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll wing it. I'll do like a G body meet because a lot of us have turbo Buicks and just
Can
see
you
what
explain
happens.
to Brett and Sally and anyone else at home what a G Body car
Okay,
is?
so a G body is basically like the style of car. So you've had cars that are made like late 70s, whatever. You have your A body. Well, for the G body, it's really like early 80s, late 80s style. Some beg to differ, and they say from 1978 up, they consider it.
They can go scrap.
They can all
Like
go
what?
argue
What's
it.
an example? Like a Firebird?
But
or
no,
like
it'd be
what-
like
So it
a
would be
Buick.
like a Pontiac Grand Prix, a Monte Carlo,
Okay.
a
I had a
Oldsmobile
Grand
Cutlass.
Am like back in the day.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
were like borderline depending on what year.
You're like
it
a
was.
cousin to the
Yeah.
G Bodies.
Yeah.
What year was your Grand Am? Do you
I
remember?
don't know. It was like I had it in the like late 80s, so it had to be like old before that. I mean, it was just a crap car.
I feel like it was like the Guido. My sister graduated in '89, so I feel like for my sister's generation era, which is she's only a few years older than me, it was like those. That was the Guido car at the time.
Okay.
It was the old Cutlass, the
Yeah.
Pontiac Grand Prix, Buick Regal. I feel like that was like not the Grand National. That was in a whole other league.
Yeah, it was a whole other
But I
realm.
feel like it would be that would have a kicker box in the back in the
Yeah.
trunk.
Did you have an Italian flag hanging from your mirror?
Right.
Did you wear Z Cavariccis?
Right.
Did you have hair like my sister that took 5 years off my life? Thanks, Aquanet. Yeah, you drove a G body. Pretty much.
Mine looked like it had like it was a bumper car. Like it had like this weird
Big
bumper
bumper.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But I feel like that
the
was a
worst
fun time
car.
for Pontiac because they had those commercials like We Build Excitement. You remember like they had like the
Yeah.
the Firebird, the GTA, the Trans Am, all those cars at the time, and the Grand Am. I feel like, and those like had those big like rubber bumpers that
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was a fun time for Pontiac on like TV. It was like the We Build Excitement.
Yeah.
like the neon lights and stuff like
I
that.
feel like, late 70s into 80s was like when like car manufacturers started putting out like cool commercials and
Yeah.
like almost theme. Like, so for a Turbo Buick, the whole thing behind it was, hey, Darth Vader, your car is ready. Like, because they only come in black.
Right.
So Grand Nationals, you can't get them in any other color. So like little things like that, they made them cool. But in hindsight, it was every like Italian, Greek guy or girl cruising the boulevard with all their shit in the car. That's pretty much what it leaned to. And
Right.
now it's just a pretty hot looking lesbian these days, running the troops, running all these old men. But yeah, so I do the G-body meet, so it's basically going to be, things of that, what we just discussed. It's going to be the Cutlass, the Monte Carlo, the Regals, all that stuff. And I do them once a month. And they actually really blew up. Like, Burger City was really on board with it. And then I did my first meet, and we had like 30 cars. And I was like, where the hell did people even hide this shit, on the island? Because I've had my Buick for over 20 years. And to go to a place and see like 20 other Turbo Buicks is like pretty crazy.
Right.
And it just took off. So I just do it every month, and then I do Oceanside cruise nights at the Old Nathan's in Oceanside on Long Beach Road.
Yep.
And I run that every Thursday. I try and just feel it out. We've come out of the pandemic. I've been really successful with all my car meets and get-togethers and stuff. So, I'm going to just see what happens with the future. Hopefully maybe my own car shows or whatnot, but it's really just to just get people together to look at some cool stuff, not like the norm, no trophies, none of that. It's just more based on
Enjoy the night.
Right.
yeah, just hang out, look at some cars, stay if you want.
Keep your fucking kids away.
That's right, keep
Right.
your fucking kids away. Boomer, Burger City, June 12th, $20.
Right? All of
Right.
it.
But yeah, so it's been a fun ride. It's definitely been great meeting a lot of the people that I have met. So that's been fun, because for a long time I was really starting to think that like anyone who owned a G-body was like either gone or an asshole. So it was refreshing these
Right.
past 2 years
Right.
to like meet a lot of really cool people that come to these meets that we would have never have met otherwise. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice. That's really. I feel like people are itching to get back out there and do things like this, and
Yeah.
I feel like people have felt cooped up for a while, and now
Yes.
it's like I know there's other things happening now with the masks,
Yeah.
dropping a little bit, and so I think that combined with now the nice weather.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I feel like it's a good combination. So, and actually, Jackie, you've offered to help a little bit with the Michael Magro
Yes.
car show, which will be August 9th. It's a Monday night at the Sears parking lot in Hicksville.
Yes, I couldn't refuse when we talked about it, and I was totally on board with helping because Michael Magro's parents, when I first met them at the one show that I did go to,
At Bosie's in Westbury. right?
yes,
Yeah.
and it was just like you go to these car shows and usually the guy who runs it is a prick or like it's chaos or like the judges are like, I don't even get judged anymore just to avoid that whole
Right.
cluster of issues. But it was really refreshing when they like loved it and they were so appreciative
Right.
of you showing support for this beautiful foundation that they have. And it was really great to go, but it was really cool to like, they take their own pictures and they're like, oh honey, look, take a picture with me with this car. It was
Right.
cool to
Right.
see that. Like they're actually into cars. So it's not just, oh, let's just do a car show. It's like
Right.
they're in it.
Yeah.
They're into it. So I couldn't say no. And plus I'm not working nights anymore. So it
Oh, so
kinda
that's
worked
good.
out.
So
yeah.
yeah,
Alright.
that's great. Yeah, no, they're the nicest people in the world. I'm on the board of the Michael Magro Foundation. We help local families affected by pediatric cancer, and they are just the nicest people in the world. And I was happy to take the car show over about 7 years ago or so when I joined the board, and it's like I felt like it was different too because along the way there was like a row of people like thanking people as they left for coming and bringing their car. It was just like a very personal experience, and people have like said that or remembered that, and I remember meeting you at one of the early shows.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, your dad was there.
Both my
Right,
parents.
right.
It's like everywhere I go, they're pretty much there. And my mom's in a wheelchair, so you have like this blonde woman in a wheelchair, and we just like woof, we were flying through that whole car show.
Right.
I'm trying to do like photo ops, like, Mom, like, get near this Ferrari real quick. I'll like throw up the middle finger in front of this caddy. You know, I always mess with her and torture her, but they love it, and it's been great. You know, having them. They come to everything, so it's nice to have parents that are
that's awesome.
supportive. Even though my father is making a face on the couch right now.
And tomorrow is the Flower Field show. Have you ever gone to that in St. James?
I have, and you want to talk about clusters, that is most certainly is one. So I pick and choose my events just based off of, is it easy to get in and out? Is it going to be total chaos? And how's the parking? What does the parking look like? And do I really feel like driving all the way over there?
Right.
That's pretty much what sells me.
And that's a hike for you too.
I was just gonna say.
but yeah.
Which
St.
I
James
don't
from
mind, but you don't mind taking a long drive if it's like just a laid back, like cool spot. But if it's not, then you're losing me.
The one thing I like about that show, because I used to go to them with my dad a lot when we were younger, is that it has some swap meet stuff.
Yes.
And I feel like that's pretty unique because there's very few car shows left that have like a swap meet element.
Yeah.
And I know there have been times when it's much bigger, but basically it's like all types of car parts and car accessory stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember like going to Englishtown, New Jersey with my dad for like their big car show and swap meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it would just be acres and miles of
Yes.
of car parts and accessories. This is when I had my 67 Mustang. And I remember I learned the lesson because everyone's trying to sell all their shit. And I remember I would go up to everyone and go, "Hey, would this fender fit a 67 Mustang?" And everyone would say, "Sure will. You know, here it is. It's $100." And then my father taught me to start asking, "Hey, what is this fender off of?" You know, let them say. I think it was a 67. Yeah, definitely a 67 Mustang. So I started saying like, "Hey, will these hubcaps fit a 67?" Sure will. You know, but Flower Fields is cool because, you know, there's an opportunity, like, you know, I'll go through with my boys and like, "Dad, can I have this?" And it's like, you know, a hood ornament from an 83 Cutlass Sierra or something. I'm like, I guess. So what are you going to do with it, you know?
Well, that same
Like a
guy,
necklace.
that same guy ran car shows at Belmont, actually. So I always go to that one.
Right.
And
That's part of the Long Island Cars.
yeah, it's
right?
the same
Yeah.
guy. Obviously, now that the Islanders are there, I think he can't do events at Belmont anymore.
Right.
But that was the one that I went to because, one, it was close, and two, that swap meet was actually a little bigger.
The one
And-
at Belmont versus
and
Flower Field.
We're like car junk hoarders. Like,
Right.
we buy almost everything. Like, if it's for a Grand National,
Right. Hey, we might
we're
need
buying
it. We might
yeah.
need it one day, right?
My
never
father
know.
has like backups of backups of backups. Like, you could never die. You can be a reversed Benjamin Button and you would still never use all the shit that you have. Like,
Right.
God only knows what he even has. But yeah, so the swap meets are fun. You know, it's nice. Sometimes you always do find a gem. I
Right.
would love it if they like really brought it back and not the swap meets where there's the woman with the pocketbook, like,
Right.
who gives a shit, you know? Or like the people selling like the fake hats,
Right.
you know, like it is a Met hat, but it was printed in the back of someone's house on the island, you know,
Right.
like
You can peel it off.
yeah, keep it car stuff or like just fun stuff. But one of the ones that's actually does have some cool stuff is the Father's Day show. It was in Merrick.
Mm-hmm.
It's run by the Sheriff's Association. Now it's going to be in Seaford train station. That's a good one for swap meets and stuff.
And that's on Father's Day?
Yeah, it's Father's Day
Okay.
weekend. It's always on a Sunday, and it's at the Seaford train station this year.
Because my father just reminded me yesterday that the Automat show. Have you ever gone to that in Hicksville?
I have.
Because
Yeah,
that's usually,
it's
I think,
alright.
the Saturday. I think that's usually the day before Father's Day.
Yeah, there's a couple of shows that are starting to crank out. There's one in Massapequa for suicide prevention on June 13th, and then you have one at the Rock Hall Museum. That's like more my neck of the woods and like Lawrence, kind of closer to Queens area. You're starting to see them pop up, but with COVID, it's been hard. I mean, I think if anything, what's saved us and brought us this far is cruise nights.
Yeah.
Really.
Right.
The meets, the cruise nights, my G-Body thing, like that's really what's been going. There's not that many shows anymore.
Yeah. And it's funny, I think more and more, I think people are looking to move away from, like, even my dad always said too, he goes, I don't want to just sit, usually you have to get there early to get a good spot at a car show, right? And he's like, you're pulling in at 8:30 in the morning, and then they want you to stay until after the judging's over at 2, 3 o'clock. So you're tied up from like 8 to 4, and it could be a beautiful day. You might want to go do something else, or get some stuff done around the house.
Yeah.
So I think people are moving away from that and sitting around and arguing with the judge over, do you have a fire extinguisher in your trunk or whatever?
Come
Right,
on,
shit like that.
The fire extinguisher, really? It's points.
Right.
A first aid kit.
Right. You're getting points for those things
Yeah,
versus
you gotta let that shit go, guys.
versus going and getting a burger and hanging out with some other car people and shooting the shit for an hour or two and then going home.
Way
Right.
more fun.
Yeah.
And everyone's borrowing each other's fire extinguishers and first aid kits. And you see them running, like, you see one guy running across and he hands it and you see the
That's
judge walk away.
hilarious.
Right,
You see
right.
the same guy run to his other friend to give him. It's like recycled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
They do. It's so funny watching them just stress out because these guys take it so seriously. Like this trophy
Right.
is like gonna give them money. It's like
Right.
everything. Like you see these guys, they're following the judge. They're ready to argue. They clean their car all day. They probably didn't even see anything in the show. Like
Right.
you lose me with that. Yeah. Like it's just then it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
I
Well,
had
then when
s-
you sell your car, it could say trophy winner.
Yeah.
That's what everyone does.
I actually threw all my trophies out. I broke my father's heart. I was like, of course my wife wasn't going to be like, sure, display all these trophies in the house.
Put them on that Pottery Barn shelf that we just bought. Yeah.
My wife was like, so what are you doing with these? She boxed them up all nice. What are you doing with these? Where are you going to put them? You going to get storage? Are they going in the shed? So I was like, all right. And then I brought them to my in-laws' house, and that stayed in their garage. And then I kind of felt bad for my mother-in-law. So I was like, all right, let me take them back. And even my mother-in-law was like, what is, it's
What are you gonna do with this shit?
Italian
Right,
woman from
right.
Flushing, Queens. Jacketta, what is this? What a trophy? A trophy for
trophy
what?
for what?
Trophy for what? Car, what car?
Because you wash your car?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I threw them out. I just let them go because I don't have a
Right.
garage.
What are you gonna do with
actually.
it?
So
Right.
my car is outside in the elements, car cover. So I don't have like that space. And I think even if I did, I probably still wouldn't keep the trophies because I'm more
Right.
for
For
like
what?
the
Right.
memories and, like, give me the pictures. I'd rather print a
Those are
picture
cool.
out and
Right.
put it on the wall
Yeah.
than look at, some trophy I got from a show that, I don't even care about, pretty much. Although the trophies also could be a lot cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the same car on the top every time.
Right.
Then the spark plug.
Right,
Like, make
right.
it fun, Give me something cool.
Well, it's funny. The guys in the shop class at Westbury Bosse's made them one year.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, they were
And
actually cool.
They were like in their welding class, Sally, and they took like a piston and like put it on a base and like this whole like everyone who like got a trophy that time, and that
They
was
were
just
thrilled then.
What was cool about it was they just did it as people's choice because then it
Yeah.
was just like, all right, you walk around and who's like everyone's voting for a car and it was first, second, third, and that's you don't have to argue with someone over
Yeah.
if they had the right paint code or something on
Yeah.
a '63 Impala.
I used
So-
to run my own car shows, and I always made it about just here's a ballot box, and then we tally it up at the end.
Right, and say, oh,
the ones who
congratulations,
win-
everyone liked your car, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you'd have ones that were like, wow,
right, yeah.
he won.
Right.
Nice job.
But it's all about like the appeal. If people connect to that car and they're into it and they're feeling it, then why not have that person win? If it, you
Right.
know. So I always did it like that.
Right.
It was always interesting to see who would win because you had the guys. Guy
Right.
rolls in. I'm winning, getting another trophy, and he doesn't win shit, and he's
all
like
pissed.
flabbergasted, like,
Right.
how did I not win? Did they not like my car?
Bullshit.
Right.
Yeah,
It is.
you'll
Yeah.
see that same guy at the next show with like 20 new modifications done to his
Right,
car,
right.
just trying to get that trophy.
Right.
And I got a fire extinguisher.
And first
I
aid
brought it
kit in
back
the
there,
back.
by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
I brought 2 fire extinguishers
All right.
this time.
Safety.
Gonna win the whole fucking thing.
Emergency kit, flares, everything.
I think I should get points for being a lesbian because I'm like the only
You
one
should.
there.
You're the unicorn.
right?
You're in a unicorn
yeah, the
car.
unicorn.
Yeah.
With the unicorn, literally. Yeah.
Get points
It's-
for writing
they
your
should go
name and
through.
being a lesbian, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I
the SAT.
should.
Oh, first aid kit, fire extinguisher. She brought her wife. Yeah, definitely extra
I'm
5
still
points.
working on my wife coming to an event. I'm still like.
Has she never or just not
She
usually?
used to all the time, and then I think she was like, "Oh, okay, now I know what this is about."
Okay, have
And-
fun, Tunny. Yeah.
And then I always ask her because it's like the joke, "Hey, Want to come out tonight with the guys? Go sit in a parking lot and look at the same shit.
Smell exhaust fumes and have a burger.
There's got to be like something else, like the pocketbook lady or something. There's got to be something in it. Then she'll be like, oh, is there a Marshall's in that parking lot? Then I'm going.
Right, I'm
in. So Marshall's parking lot, if you need a car show, let me know so I can please her.
Just don't do it at a Target or a Kohl's, because then that show is going to cost me $200 probably
Yeah.
if Giovanna comes.
Well, that's when she goes in by herself and my wallet's on me and she's on her own.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I feel like anytime Giovanna's come with me, she's like, "Oh, those are nice. Did you see those? The woman, she made those little like pins. They're so nice. I think I'm gonna get one." Yeah,
Go over there. Enjoy those pins.
we're right at time, Sally.
Is it that time
Oh,
already?
wow, okay.
Do you want to
did go
rattle off the
fast.
code for personal touch, and
Let's
then we'll
do that.
sign off?
Free car wash right now to the first, how many? 5? Mm-hmm. 5 people to text Elwood, ELWOOD, to 844-518-0909. Will get a free car wash from Personal Touch Car Wash. That's Elwood to 844-518-0909. Enjoy your Personal Touch Car Wash from us. Personal Touch Car Wash, East Northport, on 1977 East Jericho Turnpike. In Bohemia, 1261 Lakeland Avenue. $23.95 a month is what the unlimited washes start at. They do full service details. Tom did it for his wife, and you can do it.
You can do it for yours.
For your wife, my wife,
Your
Sally's husband.
Maybe Sally's going to get a wife.
Sally's gonna get a wife.
Sally's
I haven't
get one?
touched her
Sally's
yet.
wife. Yeah,
We'll find out right
yeah.
after
We'll
the
find
show.
out next show.
Personal Touch Car Wash. Thank them, and thank you. Personal Touch Car Wash, where a dirty car.
Is a dirty shame.
That's right.
Well, thank you again, Jackie, for coming
Thank
on the
you for
show.
having
It was
me.
a lot of
Jackie.
fun.
Thank you very much.
Come out of your shell a little bit more, if we have you on.
Yeah,
again.
don't hold back
Oh
next
yeah,
time.
I
Like, really, like,
actually
reserved
really
and-
did hold back. You have no idea.
awesome.
I was trying to be behaved.
Well, it was a lot of fun having you on, and
Yes,
thank you for
thank you
coming
very
on,
much.
and thanks for your help with the Michael Magro Car Show, August 9th.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate
Great
that.
event.
Thank
Go.
you, Sally.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you, Brett.
I'll be there. Thank you.
carsandcomedyshow@gmail.com if you want to reach out to us as a sponsor or have any questions, you want to come on as a guest, reach out to us. You can find us on social media. Cars and Comedy with Tom and Brett.